It is that Ken Roczen has committed to racing the 2022 FIM World Supercross Championship. If you've been following our channel or just any general moto news, you've probably been hearing about the upcoming new World Supercross Championship being put on by the SX Global Promoter Group. This is going to be a World Supercross Championship series that's going to travel to multiple countries. This first year, of course, it is going to be a three-round sort of pilot series that's going to operate during basically every major series off season. It'll be after outdoors, after the MXGP World Championship. We actually believe the first round should be announced tomorrow. From what we're aware, it should start in early October, and we think that it is starting in the UK for the first of these three rounds. So they've been announcing the teams. We have 7 of the 10 teams announced that all have to operate 2 250 and 2 450 riders to be a part of this championship. And so far, the only team that has announced riders is the Moto Concept squad. And they've already announced all 4 of their riders with Cole Seeley, Justin Braden, Mitchell Oldenburg, and Vince Freeze. The other 7 teams, or the other 9 teams, plus the couple that haven't been announced for teams, have not really announced any riders yet. But the series has been trying to attract big talents. From the very first time we interviewed the crew behind this, they did claim that their goal was to get the Tomacs, the Lawrences, the Roczens of the world. And after speaking to some of these riders, and more particularly their agents, we knew that it was going to be a tough ask, because even though the purse money is really good from the outside looking in at this series, it is still less than what these guys make off their OEM bonuses. Somebody like Ken Roczen, just from Honda alone, is getting over $100,000 for a Supercross win, plus purse money, plus personal endorsements. Yeah, this World Supercross Championship is $50,000 on the 450 win in the purse, but again, for somebody of these big names, we expected something different to be done. So with Ken committing to the series without a team, we would suspect that there has been some sort of financial offer possibly given to him by the series to sort of compete in this pilot series. Now, like I said, the other interesting part is he is committed, but there is no team that he has announced for. And the announcement is vague, saying that he will ride for one of the 10 teams. And from what we're aware, there is no chance that one of those 10 teams is the HRC Honda squad. So what does that mean that Ken Roczen is going to race in this series? First off, starting about his current contract situation. If his current contract is all he has, if he has not re-signed, there has been rumors that he is working on a new deal, his current contract with the HRC Honda team would likely end at the end of September, like most of these deals do, right around September 30th. This series starting in October, that either means he is planning on switching brands. He is either planning on maybe doing something with Honda Extended, or maybe he pulls a Chad Reed and just runs something he gets his hands on kind of as the intermittent point. But there are some Honda teams in the series. Even though they haven't all been announced, we believe there are going to be 4 teams in the series that are going to race Hondas. There is a possibility that if Ken is continuing with Honda and working out a deal with them, he could work out a deal to lease his works bikes, basically, or his factory bikes from Honda, either for a fee or maybe something out of his contract, etc., to go race this series. But that would require him to bring like his own technician and everything that they would trust to touch that bike, which isn't out of the question. Justin Braden, that rides for the Moto Concepts teams in the past, has had different levels of HRC support while he's been attached to the team, and they've allowed that. And then Yuriv Konski, whose team we believe is soon to be announced, the Firepower Honda team, which is the Australian Honda factory team, they competed with Justin Braden down under on full HRC equipment that Honda basically loaned JB under certain circumstances of who could work on it. So potentially, Kenny could ride for one of these Honda teams, but on his own equipment. If he does that, this really makes us believe or start to think that Kenny is going to go possibly Supercross only himself in the future, which, based on the last rumor mill video we did about the HRC Honda team, could make sense. We were questioning what they were going to do about Kenny because of the possibility of Jet Lawrence going 450 by outdoors of next year, and them being very unlikely to run that many 450 guys. It would work out really well for them if they've come to some sort of agreement where Kenny is going to race this upcoming World Supercross Championship, race the AMA Supercross Championship next year, and then the FIM World Supercross Championship in 23. He may have some deal worked out like that. It could work really well for Honda. But again, this would be a unique situation because this is not HRC Honda competing at the world level. It would be him attached to one of the existing teams and bringing equipment. Speaking of just possibly bringing equipment, something else we've heard is that MDK Motorsports and possibly one of the other teams in this series are not going to operate like traditional race teams. We've heard rumors that they've talked to certain riders about, hey, we're not going to have exactly a direct affiliation with an OEM. We're going to be more the vessel to get you to the races. If you have a program, bikes, mechanics, technical that works for you and sponsors, you can come run them with us. Maybe we have a couple sponsors we put on the bike, and they mostly collect the upfront fees and kind of create this this organization that allows big name riders to kind of come in and out with their own stuff. So this is also another possibility for Kenny, is that maybe he is looking at switching brands next year. Maybe he has a program idea in mind, and he's just going to kind of use one of these 10 teams that will allow him to sort of bring whatever he wants to the table to compete. Again, this could be really interesting because this could play a huge part into what we see Ken Roczen doing in 2023 and beyond. Or the other possibility is, again, this little 3-round series this year is a nice little pilot series. It doesn't conflict with anything. Maybe Kenny goes and does it, gets his feet wet, and then if he gets a contract that allows him to race in the U.S. full-time next year, maybe we don't see him compete in the second year of World Supercross. As you can see, it's a lot of if and or buts, but we would start to think that if Kenny is going to dip his toe into this series, we would think it really points towards him becoming an indoor-only guy going forward for the next couple years and starting to create some sort of plan that will allow him to race the World Supercross Championship and the AMA Supercross Championship, as those series should not directly compete against each other on schedules. The other interesting thing, a few people are already pointing out in the announcement or comment sections on our social media and our website, is he is listed as the number 2 globally ranked rider in Supercross, and people are confused at what that means. Basically, the SX Global guys took over the FIM license for World Supercross after Feld ditched that license going into this year and shifted to just being an AMA series. So with that, they're considering the ranking in the series being based off the last time there was an FIM World Supercross Championship, which was when Feld operated under that title back in 2021. Cooper Webb won the championship in 21. Roczen was number 2. They basically offered Webb, if he were to show up for this series, he would be the number 1 plate for those 3 rounds this year. Kenny can either run his 94 or the number 2 plate. Again, so that's why he is classified as the number 2 globally ranked rider coming into this series. Again, there's a lot of digest there. It's a lot of speculation because they just kind of dropped this announcement this morning, but without any real context of what Kenny is going to do other than he's committed to the series. And again, the fact that the series has announced that Kenny is committed makes us believe that they have some sort of separate contract with him that has enticed him to enter the series and give his stamp of approval, which of course will be great for the series end because it gives them one of those top 5 level name riders to attach to the series and possibly make these teams fawn over trying to get aboard their program. Now, this is kind of the domino we've been also waiting for to fall, even though riders such as Justin Brain are big names, and we've heard some other fairly good mid-pack to top 10 to guys that have been top 5 and guys who have been successful in the pack, like in the past, like Seeley and Brain. It hasn't been anybody that's really currently a top 5 guy from last season until now, Roczen. So this could open the gateway again, a little bit of monkey see, monkey do. Once one guy commits, do we see more commit? I know there's a lot of rumors as well pointing towards Webb possibly competing in the series, but we've also heard privately that KTM has sort of squashed that happening. So we'll have to see going forward, is Kenny the only big name that takes the chance this year, or does this open the floodgates and start to see other riders participate? Because again, this first 3-round pilot series this year doesn't compete with anything. We could see a lot of riders dip their toes in it, but then maybe not continue on to the second year. It might be for them to feel out the series and see if it's somewhere they want to come in the future. It might be a short-term cash grab, or maybe some go over there, find a situation that works for them, and stays. Again, there's a lot of different possibilities on the table. So we're curious your thoughts. Throw them in the comment section below. Any rumors you've heard from your buddies. I mean, we've probably heard all of them, but it's still fun to hear where people hear, what they think, what they see. Would you be shocked to see Roczen do this full-time or not? Give us a thumbs up, like, subscribe. Thanks for watching, and check out the rest of our videos.